What is up, everyone? We got a pretty cool little bike in here today. This is a 2021 Honda Rebel 500. So it's a parallel twin cylinder 500cc. It's mostly like a beginner's bike. It's a pretty small bike. If I zoom out, you can see. But it's a pretty small bike. It's more of like a beginner's bike, honestly, how small it is. And I don't know. This one only has like 3,500 miles on it. Got a good clean title. Whenever we got it, it had 8-hanger bars on it. It had basically a straight pipe, and then it had the stock suspension on there still. So a few reasons why I've changed some of those things out. One of the worst things about this bike, whenever it had the stock suspension on there, it was so stiff. It was not fun. So I was like, you know what? I got to do something to fix this. So immediately when I got back home, because of how stiff the rear suspension was, I was like, you know what? Maybe it just isn't compressing the rear suspension enough. There's not enough dampening. So I softened it up to the softest setting. Now I have some aftermarket shocks on here that are a lot softer. I put a different exhaust on there. This one actually has a baffle, and I actually had to make my own baffle to throw in there along with the one that came with it, just to make it a little bit quieter. And then we got these beach bars on here now. It came with really tall, like foot tall ape hangers that just look ridiculous on this little bike. And yeah, that's pretty much all we've done with it so far. But yeah, I'm gonna quit talking about it. Let's take this thing on a little test ride and see how it does.
All right, we're just about geared up here. I haven't even started this thing up for you guys yet. Oh boy, these dang twins, the way they sound, I just... oh, sound hilarious, honestly. When they have dual exhaust on them, they sound freaking awesome. I had a 81 or 82 CM 200 that had dual exhaust on it. It sounded freaking sweet. So let's see how she rides with the new shocks. Let me get the shock closed up real quick. Be back with you.
I would really like to get a windscreen on this thing. You guys are probably getting a ton of wind noise right now. It's also just super windy out today. Still pretty bumpy. I may take a little bit of the preload off the springs. Nowhere near as bad as what it used to be. I got to adjust this mirror. I'm looking at myself, basically. Yeah, I think I'll adjust the preload. Probably be good then. See, we got a gear indicator there. Don't believe we have active mile per gallon or anything like that. Not really sure. Trip. I can't see what this is.
Still a little bit bumpy for the back roads. This is more of like a round town pavement princess type of bike, honestly. And I think it could use a clutch. This was the guy's first bike, and I imagine he probably slipped the crap out of this clutch. Like the lower gears, it doesn't seem to want to slip, but when you're in the higher gears, 4th, 5th, 6th, it kind of seems like it's slipping a little bit. Took off in 3rd gear. Don't need those road hazards in there. On there. Beautiful little property here. I really like this creek crossing up here. You guys haven't noticed, I come through here a lot. But yeah, anyway, this would be a really good beginner's bike. Something to learn on. It's nice and short. Not a whole lot of power. I think it's like 43 horsepower, something like that. Just, you know, decent amount for how small, light of a bike it is, but really fun cruising around town on this thing for sure. See that. Man, this wind, you're probably not going to hear me too well. So windy. Turn that down a little bit. End up getting a copyright strike with my music playing. Let's go cruise around town for a little bit. Like I said, that's where this thing would really shine. It's only got like a 2.5 gallon tank or something like that. I think you can only get like 150, 175 miles out of a tank. If it had a little bit bigger tank, it would probably be better for a little bit longer rides, but it's such a small bike, you get pushed around by the wind a lot. It's, I wouldn't recommend riding anybody on it unless you're both like $120, $150 each. Even then, it's such, like I said, it's just such a small bike. It's really not made for stuff like that. Riding 2 up, you really want to have a bigger bike. stop by my buddy's and see if he's in from work yet or not. Probably not. It's pretty early still. Halloween coming up. May have to get some underglow and things like that for this bike. Definitely be a good bike for just like running errands and stuff around town, especially if you had some bags on it, you know, throw a little bit bigger items in your bags. Run some errands, shipping things, picking up small things from the convenience grocery stores or whatever. Just doesn't want to stay put over there. I need to get some different ones. I don't like these big square things on here. They look kind of ridiculous, honestly. I can't see crap on them the way they're adjusted right now. At least that right one. Nah, that's a little bit better, but you can tighten it up. Yeah, need a little bit more preload off those rear shocks. A little too stiff for how light of a bike and how light I am. That right there is exactly why I prefer the mayo over the mustard, which is, you know, yellow or a white line. No white line on this road, but yeah. People just don't be paying attention. They don't give a crap. They come over the center line and take you out real quick. He's still working. Maybe stop by my other buddy's house, or not house, but shop up here if he's there. He likes smaller bikes and stuff. He's a big Honda guy. He may want to buy this thing, actually. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. It might be. Alright, my buddy's shop door was open, but he was not in the shop, so. And we got lots of traffic. Lots of traffic. Man, it's hot today. It was like 95 degrees yesterday. Had my visor flipped up, probably had all kinds of wind noise there. Hot. Yeah, I was kind of just stopping by to see if maybe he'd be interested in something like this, but told him, I was like, yeah, I'll probably end up selling this thing here soon. I was texting back and forth with him. I guess he's working as a welder somewhere. But he was like, yeah, it's a little small for a cruiser bike. Like, yeah, more of a getting around town rig. I was telling one of the guys at the shop there, they used to be the guys I go to when I was younger to tune all my cars, do all my work for me and stuff, but I was like, yeah, I might have a project for you guys here in the future if I don't do it myself anyway. Thinking about throwing some twin turb skis from like an EcoBoost on my Toyota work daily driver truck. We'll have to get something to drive in the meantime. I mean, I can always ride the bikes and stuff, but not when it's inclement weather. If it's raining super hard, I'm not gonna ride. If it's below like 30 degrees, I'm probably not gonna ride. I am working on getting some heated grips for my KLR. I've got a heated vest. Maybe need to get some heated pantalones and probably be set then, honestly. I've got some gauntlet style grips, or gloves. Last winter I was riding around, it was like 35, 40 degrees, and it was actually not that bad. Just had a bug fly at me. This is a fun little bike for sure. Just not something you'd want to take on longer trips on the highway, or definitely not the interstate. I think it would be nice to have a good windscreen on it. They're a little bit pricey for these things. You can get like handlebar mount windscreens that are fairly reasonably priced. This thing revs out probably 10,000 RPM. I don't know how well you guys would have heard that taking off from my buddy's shop there, but let's think about a small bore multi-cylinder bike is they like to rev. Don't have my music going. Man, Dunlop tires suck so bad. That's what's on here. The sidewalls just have like zero strength on these things. You can feel them freaking fold over when you lean in too much. Barely hear this thing with all the wind noise. I'm so used to having a windscreen right at the KLR now. Alright, yeah, that's it for the riding video. One thing I really dislike about this is that it has ABS. Some people will disagree, obviously, for their own reasons, but let's say you wanted to, I don't know, like I was trying to get it to whip around, do a J-turn there, and guess what happened? It locked up and just kept going straight. That is not good. In multiple scenarios where you would not want to go straight, it'll make you go straight. That means if you're in a turn, hit the brakes a little bit too much instead of being able to put it into a little bit of a drift, you would just go off the road. That's real safe. Everyone has their preferences, though. I'm not going to say anything else about that, but yeah. Hot.
Well, it was a little bit longer ride than I kind of anticipated, but yeah, I mean, it's It's a fun bike to ride around town on. I am definitely going to loosen up the preload on that rear shock just a little bit. It's a little too stiff still. And it did get a little bit taller because of those shocks are maybe 10 mil taller than the stock ones. So taking that preload off should help a little bit with that. I really think that we should get a smaller front tire for this thing just to help with the speed wobbles a little bit more. Other than that, may get a new clutch pack for it. Guy that previously owned this was his first bike. It's very, very likely that he just slipped the crap out of the clutch on this thing. Once it gets heat into it, it'll start slipping. As you may have been able to tell in that video, I don't know, because of how windy it was and everything. I'll have to see when I go through editing and stuff. But anyway, it's a pretty cool little bike. Some pretty exciting news for the channel though. I finally got the channel monetized. Not with like watch page ads, you're not gonna see more advertisements in the video or anything like that. But I was able to set up like a shopping store. I put my logo on some hoodies, some zip ups, and a black tee. So if you guys want to get some merch or something like that, go check out the logo and the hoodies and stuff there. I don't make a lot of money on them. I'm having a company do everything for me as far as like making them, shipping, customer service, processing, all that stuff is done by them. So I have very small margins. It's like $10 to $15 per item. And I'm gonna pledge now that of that profit that I get, 50% of it is gonna be donated to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So yeah, I'm not gonna be taking all the profit from any sales on merchandise or anything like that. That's not my goal to get rich doing this. I just love doing it, and I just like to continue to be able to support myself doing it. So if you can help me out in that way, thank you very much. You'll be helping out tons of sick kids that really need the help. St. Jude's Children's Hospital there in St. Louis, Missouri. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this video. If you liked the video, please hit that thumbs up right down there. Helps me out a lot. Any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave those down below. And if you feel like I earned a subscription today, go ahead and tap on the subscribe button right down there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.